Yo, 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 what up, everybody? How we doing today?
I'm good.
You doing well, Kat?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm
Good.
feeling good today. How are you?
Fantastic. We have Shawn Hayston on with us today from Florida in Pasco County, correct?
Yes.
And what's that near? Tampa?
Yeah, Tampa Bay. Yeah.
Okay.
Right outside Tampa Bay.
Shawn, give us a little bit, just a little bit of background of yourself.
Yeah. So I am 43. I'm married for 13 years, and I have two young boys that are 11 and turning 8 this month. I've also been a professional firefighter for be 20 years in May. And also an RN, and I just became a nurse practitioner recently too.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
So pretty heavily involved in your community, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really enjoy that first responder stuff, huh?
Yeah.
That's good. So what kind of set off the events that brought you here today?
Well, I got invited to go on a tour for my son's school because of a crazy mural that was there, and I ended up going on that tour just to check everything out there. And there was that and a yearbook, which was really kind of disturbing.
Yeah, Tex, do we have images of the mural?
Yep, I'm bringing them up now.
That we can show our guests. So this was a tour because your son was going to be attending that school, correct?
Correct. And
so it was just a standard come check out the school, see what we've got going on kind of thing.
Yeah, and another parent is the one who alerted me to the mural.
I'm trying to pull it up. It's giving me a hard time. You can keep talking.
I was going to say that's okay. So then, did you say something right away when you noticed these things, or did you kind of continue the tour?
Well,
like, how did it? We'll get the images up for you guys too, but I want you to kind of get to finish your story too.
Yeah, what happened is the other parent set up the tour, and she's alerted me of the mural, and when I saw it, I was like, I have to go see this tour or this mural, because there's no way that should be in a public school.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let me share it because it's not in Chrome. Let me figure out a way now to pull it up here. Hang on.
Okay.
So then then you did the tour. When did you make the actual complaint? Was it that day? Did you say something while you were there, or did you just kind of finish the tour and say something later?
Well, actually, I never complained about anything. We just went on the tour as parents, and throughout the entire tour, the principal was very condescending towards us, and she literally, she refused to answer any questions at all. She's basically told us as soon as we arrived that we couldn't take any pictures, we couldn't do any videos, and she was very standoffish from the get-go. That was the only interaction I've ever had with her, to be honest.
And this is a public school, right?
Yeah.
So not a private, government-funded school.
And then, and when I heard about the yearbook where they talked about specific sexualities of kids, then I definitely was like, I can't deal with that.
I was gonna say, I don't know if that's in the article or not, the yearbook, because it was like a 2-page spread, correct?
Yeah, and those safe space stickers were all over the doors and everything too, which I just asked a simple question about what a safe space sticker was.
Mm-hmm.
She said I refused to answer that question.
She wouldn't tell you what they were for?
No. Matter of fact, her answer was that I should go ask the lady down the hall, which she was talking about Jennifer, and she knows the answers to everything.
Oh, wow. Very condescending.
Oh, yeah. The whole time we were there.
And this is middle school, correct?
Yes.
So this is 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Yeah.
And then with the yearbook photo, was it was like it was showcasing individual students
Correct.
and then their pronouns, their sexuality.
Specific sexualities. Yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of see it in Texas. Hold on, we'll go back to, yeah, you can see it on his phone because we can't get it to pull up.
Yeah, they specifically mentioned each kid's sexual preference. Like the first kid is bisexual, the other kid is transgender, the other kid is pansexual. Like they went into specifics with that. And I found that to be inappropriate. I have no problem with people.
These are middle schoolers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's how little they look. We
my
forget,
God.
we forget, and I think that's why it's important to show the pictures because we forget how little middle school
He
still
looks
is.
like 5.
Right. Like they're not old enough to know anything about their
No, I mean that's probably a 6th grader, I would imagine, with how little he is.
Yeah, I would guess.
So then what kind of
Wow.
so what led to because your place of employment was contacted in regards to this?
Yeah, so we left the tour and I thought, well, it didn't go very well, but I didn't think anything of it. And then the next day I was working at my nurse practitioner job.
Okay, so you didn't even complain to the principal. You didn't put a formal complaint in a phone call, an email, nothing.
And then they literally called and complained about me.
Because you were asking questions.
Yeah, and they made some serious allegations too, like that I was an unauthorized visitor in the school, that I was hostile towards school officials, and that I was trespassed by the sheriff's office.
But you had a sticker, like
Yeah,
they did the whole thing.
Yeah, and I never saw the sheriff at all. So they just kind of made up the whole thing. And unfortunately, I was investigated immediately, and she never was.
And how long did that last? Like how did that affect
Well,
you?
I was eventually cleared, and nothing happened to me at my job. But she's never been investigated, and they told her that they sent me an email finally 2 weeks ago. This happened in August. That they wouldn't be investigating her, and there would be no more. Nothing else would be happening.
Even though it was proven that what she said wasn't true.
Yeah.
And this is a principal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Have you tried going through their superintendent?
I've been all the way up to
I'm sure he has.
blown me off.
I mean, I know he has because
Yeah.
we chit-chatted a little bit in the back room, but I want other people to know. Oh, no problem. I think he had to grab something.
Maybe he's grabbing more stuff. This is crazy. I mean,
Yeah, because I mean, with the article, it had said
Yeah,
that they accused him essentially of just walking into the school. You know what I mean? Like there was no tour. They didn't mention his son being enrolled. They made no mention of anything. So the narrative that they tried to spin and push with this was that he just walked in off the street and walked into the school and started acting a type of way and started acting aggressive and asking too many questions. And, they made up that he was trespassed.
and now
and all the
they're
rest of it.
considering a new policy aimed at setting boundaries when angry parents approach educators with complaints. So now they're painting him as an angry individual when, from the sounds of it, he was just simply asking questions. Like, who wouldn't? I mean, when you
Well,
see
his son was going to be attending next year.
right,
Like that was the whole plan. And I know that me as a parent, I've always done school tours, even if I was staying within my district.
I'm sorry, but if I walked into a school and saw this mural,
right,
I would 100% be asking questions.
yes, I mean
What is this about?
This is dystopian. This is end of days. This is fear. Like this doesn't make kids want to come to school. And I don't understand what the gas mask has to do with sexuality or being inclusive or LGBTQ. I don't understand the
Well, the
correlation
sign
between
that
the
says
two.
hate has no home here. Well, of course, like I have no issues teaching the kids not to hate, but
Hmm.
like the whole thing is I couldn't imagine even being a parent that is even left leaning or whatever you want to call it would I think any parent should question this kind of mural.
Hmm.
I think it would come natural to any parent to say, oh, what's this about? Like it's morbid.
Well, because it's not like it's not like it's, saying mask up and stay safe. Like as far as COVID goes, I mean, this is a full blown end of days biohazard face mask.
Right.
That's scary to kids.
And you have new kids coming in, which is
Mhm.
what was this like a tour that was for like all incoming sixth graders?
No, it was scheduled specifically because of the mural and because of the yearbook.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
what we found out was that the mural actually was painted over 2 days before the tour. So that's why I was convinced that it was retaliation of her mural getting painted over because she was upset about it.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, somebody did ask, can you do anything civilly?
I do have an attorney that I'm working with. I haven't filed an official lawsuit. He did a demand letter for me, but that was as far as I've been so far.
And can they be charged with making false? Well, they didn't make a false police report, right?
They didn't make a
just
false
made
report, but they lied about making a report.
Well, because it was a watchdog website for first responders, right? Like holding first responders accountable website,
Yeah, basically.
like a watchdog.
Well, ours is a watchdog that keeps track of the school board. That's how I got notified. But
Okay.
she just picked up the phone and called my personnel chief and said all that.
Now, I see in the article that you sent too that they're now. We were just discussing it while you were away that the district is now considering a new policy aimed at setting boundaries when angry
They
parents. Like,
used
so they're painting you as like this angry
yeah,
individual. Which I mean, having this short conversation with you now, you seem pretty mild and mild tempered. Like,
Yeah, you seem like
I
you
mean,
have a
as a
pretty
first
calm
responder,
demeanor.
I'm sure you're.
I wasn't worked up or
make y'all-
anything. I just, I asked a couple questions and she didn't like to answer them, and that was basically it. But the crazy thing is that the school board is not helping me at all, and neither is the district.
So
Because
have
you mean you're involved with the school now, like, and you can see that through the news
I
article.
go
Like,
to school all the time. I read books to them. I go and help out with all kinds of things, parades, you name it.
so it's not uncharacteristic of you to be
No.
in the school with your kids and helping and being involved and the rest of it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the narrative that they're trying to spin is like, A, you're either this random person that came off the streets, and when that didn't work, now it's this you're this angry parent that's just throwing a fit to throw a fit without showing how involved you were with the school system with
Right.
your child and how much like that is something that you care about. It's not a new trendy
No.
thing because
Oh,
we have to admit that some people are going a little overboard
for
with
sure.
with the schools and their behavior and the way that they're acting, and you can't get things done when you're behaving like that. That
Right.
does exist, but I feel like they're trying to paint you as one of those parents when that's not what was happening with the
Yeah, I was
situation.
there. Literally, I was there as a concerned parent, not an activist. Like they would
Yeah.
have you to believe.
The same school district has other lawsuits
They
pending.
do. Yeah, they do. So
for the same
a
thing.
lot of corruption in this school board. Yeah.
Wow. How have you been received at the school board meetings that are
Well, it's the same way every time. Anytime a parent speaks, they don't look you in the eye. They don't respond to you. They shut off the public comment at the end, so it's not recorded, and you can't leave comments during the school board on their.
real
So are they doing
transparent?
them? So are they doing them in person or no?
What's that?
The school board meetings, are they done in
they're-
person?
Yeah.
Because I know the district that we just moved from, they were getting so much backlash that they're still using COVID
Right.
Even though the
Yeah.
kids are back in school, they're still using that to not have in-person school board meetings.
Yeah, I saw in Washington, D.C. that kids had to get a COVID test to come back from Thanksgiving break. So
What?
if you didn't upload by 9 o'clock, then the Sunday night before, your kid couldn't come back to school.
For how long?
I didn't see that in the article, but
It's probably 2 weeks or negative test. That's
quarantine or a negative test.
God, Lord.
Yeah, that's still going on in some places.
So Nick's asking like what your next steps with them would be.
Well, right now I am planning a run for a school board position in 2024. So I'm getting ready to meet with the supervisor of elections tomorrow, actually. And
good.
I'm excited about that. I may pursue some more legal activity, my pathways there.
Yeah.
So
are you going to be able to maybe get some other folks run with you that maybe you guys can take on?
Yeah, there is one other guy who plans to run with me. He's been a school teacher for 14 years. His name's CJ Smith, and we're planning on doing a run together.
Oh, good.
So potentially we can get 2 seats in one shot.
Oh, good. That'll be, I mean, you still might have a minuscule voice, but at the end of the day, at least you can.
Yeah, I mean, one good thing is the community has been way behind me. I've had a lot of support from parents and teachers and everything. So I think when I do make a run, I'm going to have a pretty good start to begin with of people that are just tired of the school board ignoring them and not taking into any of their concerns seriously, or not even that, not even acknowledging that they have a concern.
Right.
How is the attendance of the school board meetings whenever you go? Are they pretty packed or are they?
They're dismal, 5 to 10 people.
That's unfortunate. I mean,
that's the problem.
Unfortunately, that's how it is across the country. We all complain about it, but nobody, or very few people show up.
But they made it like that. They've made them to where parents are defeated and they won't show up. So
yeah,
I'm hoping that we can change things and get parents involved again.
Right.
Because they have to see it. They have to see other people doing it. Like that's how you make real change. And by you doing that and running with somebody else, it's going to motivate more people to, first of all, attend. If they think that their voices are actually being heard, they're going to show up.
Yeah.
And hopefully it encourages more people to run as well.
Well, and in Florida, they had an 80% parent win percentage for school board this last election, which is incredible. 80%.
Wow. Have you talked to any of your local representatives about this issue?
I did, and I couldn't get one of them to return a call to me.
Really?
Yep, not a single one.
Did you try reaching out to your governor?
I did, and he acknowledged me. DeSantis acknowledged me. Well, somebody from his camp did, but it was in the middle of election. It was the middle of a hurricane.
Yeah.
So they kind of said, we're aware and we're keeping an eye on it, but that's all I've heard since then.
I would do a follow-up
to the commissioner of Florida Department of Education, and they basically told me, unbelievably, they said, I would either elect a new school board or take care of it civilly, but there's nothing we can do.
It's just it's so shocking to me how much power the school board has.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about that before we became live. A lot of people don't realize is that there is nobody to keep them in check. There's nobody that regulates them. They are their own little entity that regulates itself.
77,000 kids.
Wow.
And start fundraising probably after I meet with the supervisor election and get a official account so I don't do anything, illegal.
Sure.
So,
when you do that, if you'll let me know that that information and the we'll display it on our next couple of podcasts too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to see you win.
I'm going to have a full-blown grassroots campaign. Being a fireman, I have a lot of free time during the day. I'm going to be knocking on doors and wearing the soles off of my feet. That's how.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how we have to do it, though. It's the only way that we're gonna do anything. I mean, that's where we're at now. We're no longer at the part where just saying it helps or just speaking out. Like we have to go and fill those seats. We have to physically get up and do the work and show up in order to make a difference in the schools is where we really, I feel, where a lot of attention needs to be focused, because I'm also not against LGBTQ curriculum in schools.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of times we get labeled, like, oh, they don't want to talk about it at all. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I do think it's highly inappropriate to display children across a yearbook ad and define them by their sexuality, because our kids are so much more than who they're attracted to or what their pronouns are. That's such a small part of who somebody is.
In our in the
And I don't think they're old enough to know who they are at this point.
It says up to 3rd grade. I don't think that's too much to ask.
No.
Now, did your child see the mural?
Just a picture of it. I showed it to him, and he thought it was scary. And I asked him his opinion. Would that bother you to look at that every day? And he didn't like it. I've asked several kids, and not one of them found it to be good.
Now, like, where in the school was this? Like, as soon as you walk in?
No, it was hidden. It was down another hallway, like outside the lunchroom.
A place where the kids are going to see it pretty frequently, but not the
Exactly.
parents.
And they painted it during the quarantine. So over
COVID. What did they cover it up with?
I'm not sure. I think it's just blank right now.
Mm.
Wow.
Again, I was never invited back into the school, and I was told that I was never allowed to come back into the school for another tour by the superintendent.
But what if your child attends that school? You're still not allowed in?
Then they'll have to deal with me.
Right.
Well, I guess that's a conundrum. Obviously, like, part of you probably says, I really don't want my kids attending here. But then part of you probably is like, I want my kids attending so I can be a pain in their ass.
Yeah. I kind of feel like you're throwing in a towel when you say, well, I'll go homeschool or I'll go to another school,
Right.
It's almost like you just want to see it out, and say, we're not afraid of you. And we're not going to back down to you.
Right.
And how long did this attack on your job kind of go on for? Like, how long did you have to deal with that? Because it kind of goes into this question, because someone was asking just overall, how do you handle something that mental health wise when you're going in, you're just.
It was rough, because
yeah.
I have a career and I have a reputation, a really good reputation. And the fact that, they said I was trespassed by the sheriff's office and things like that, that was tough. It caused me to have some insomnia, and I ended up leaving my dream job of practitioner because of it. Because I just couldn't focus on what I was doing. I was a brand new practitioner trying to learn their policies and procedures and treat. I was in urgent care. I had the job lined up before I even got my license in the mail. They hired me on the spot. And I was only there for 2 days when I got that call from my union official telling me that I was being investigated.
Now, you're still with them now, right?
Fire department, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fire department ended up clearing me of everything.
How long did that investigation last?
Well, it only was an hour long, but again, from the time I got notified, a hurricane hit, so everything got pushed back, and they gave me a date like 3 weeks out. So I had 3 weeks to run through scenarios in my head, like, am I going to be able to take care of my family? Am I going to lose my job? Am I going to get demoted? Am I going to get transferred? All that stuff goes through your head. And of course,
and how it affects you going forward, because you can be cleared, but once it's said, there's always going to be, that
public opinion.
Yep. There's always the court of public opinion on the way that they feel about it. And it's sad. It makes me so sad, and angry that this is where we're at now. And this is what
over questions being asked. I mean,
or this, are you worried that if you do enroll your child there next year, that they're going to face backlash because of their dislike for you now?
Well, honestly, I think they're going to be more weary to even get involved with my kids, in a negative way. I think they'd be very ballsy to do that, being the history that we have, but I don't know.
But they were ballsy to call your employment on false information.
Yeah, true. And then the superintendent just sent me a first first time I had any correspondence with him was 2 weeks ago. And this happened on August 26th.
And from August till now, and you're just now hearing from the super.
Yep. And he basically told me that she didn't violate any policies or procedures, that her supervisor, first they started with they didn't know about anything. And then they finally admitted that. And, they talked to her and then they said that she didn't violate any policies or procedures.
So lying to people's jobs is not a violation of any policy.
So contacting people's jobs, just the simple act of contacting the job for what?
Right.
Yeah, we're in different counties too.
So Bella is asking you to talk about policy 5120 and what Browning did.
Yeah, so he basically, you kind of touched on it earlier, but he's creating a civility policy that basically silences parents' voices, when it comes to any complaints with the school board. And they're using me as an example, so they're building this whole civility policy off of a lie, which I find and he actually talked bad about me in the newspaper too, which I sent the article.
Is that in the Picasso County School Board? The second
they haven't passed anything yet, but they're trying to.
I think that's
and what does it entail?
Just basically it's 2 pages that it talks about if parents raise their voice, they called it voluminous emails, things like that, then that you would be held accountable for it.
Held accountable how?
I don't know. It's very, the school board actually said that this policy they brought to them, they were not going to accept it the way it was. They said there was way too much, unclear things, and it was directly attacking parents.
Well, yeah, I mean, really think about that for a minute. If you raise your voice at us, there will be repercussions. You're not a child. You're not a child in the school. You're a parent of a child.
Our Constitution never said that you can't disagree with somebody and that you have to do it
quietly.
Well, they work for us. Like, we elect them, we hire them. They work for us. It's our
time. They forget that we decide who gets in those seats.
Right.
So hopefully we're going to give them a good reminder in 2024.
Well, and it's like they have too much power, but unfortunately, Scrappy, like we as people have allowed it to happen, whether it was by, we were talking about this a little bit earlier too, where you trust your schools, you assume that school is the same as when you were in school, and you don't think that something that's going on. You want to believe that people go into this position to do the best thing for your children and with your children's best interests, and that it's not about power but it is, and it all kind of boils down to that, and we've ignored it.
Yeah.
How has, now since you've been cleared and obviously with this new proposal that might be coming up, and how has the community been like receiving you? Have you received any backlash at all, or?
Actually, I haven't at all. I've had nothing but positive support and encouragement. And, that's kind of what's made me think about putting my other career on the back burner, was the support I got from the community.
Good.
So
good. And how's the community been reacting to the school?
Well, I mean, other than social media, which is severely shadow banned, I think a lot of people aren't aware of it. The local media wouldn't pick it up, and obviously I have no way to get a hold of the mainstream media. I would love to, but I don't have that connections like that. But
right.
I reached out to all of the local media, and not one of them returned a call. And I gave him all the information I just gave you guys, and he never called me back.
Well, I mean, we can always post that on Instagram and make all you guys start tagging mainstream media and everything, because that's the thing. You got to be annoying, which is crazy to me. Like, a story is a story, and awareness is awareness, and issues are issues. But when it comes to elected officials, mainstream media, really anything like that, you have to be so annoying just all day, every day, tagging, calling, emailing over and over and over again, to where they get so annoyed with you that they listen to you, which sucks. But
And you would think like local should be picking this up.
That
And that's
one.
why I was wondering
That
how
is one left tactic that I agree with, and I'm sorry, but I do. Like protesting at their door. They're elected officials. Their address is public. You're
We've
not
talked
being
about
violent. You're not being violent. You're not
not at
threatening.
their door, but we've talked about doing a protest just at the outside of the school board meetings.
Mhm.
there you go.
You know, because that would get some media attention, I think, eventually. But
It would, whether it's negative or positive at first, it at
is.
least gets people looking in
Yeah.
your direction.
and it's right outside on a major road. I mean, at some point they're gonna have to acknowledge what's happening.
Yeah. No, I think that that's a good idea. I mean, protests work. I mean, as far as to get attention, you know what I
Local,
mean? You
for
might,
sure.
they
Yeah.
do.
No,
Like
they
we
do.
saw it here in Michigan. It was the day that the kids were supposed to start school, the day they were
Yeah.
going back normal. That was the plan. And then that night, at, I think it was like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, the Michigan Department of Health was like, yeah, no, just kidding.
Right.
Masks are mandatory. This is mandatory.
Right.
And that's not the way it was supposed to be. And I think like in a matter of an hour and a half, a group was able to gather, I want to say it was like 2,200 parents did not show up for work that day.
Yeah.
And my husband stayed home. We let the kids go to school because I was like, you guys can't go to school. I'm not doing the masks. I'm not doing this again this year. I'm done. They were so distraught, begging us to go. They're like, it's okay. We want to, okay, we'll let you go. And I go, but while you're there, me and your dad are going to go cause some hell. You can watch my kids while I go cause hell.
Yeah.
And we did. We showed up. We didn't leave. We didn't leave all. I mean, we walked around that building all day and it got on the news and it got attention. And, you know, I think it was like a week later, they dropped the policy.
That's how I initially came on the scene with all these parents. Was I spoke at the first school board meeting when they talked about masking our kids again.
Mhm.
You know, my son was a kindergartner and he went the whole first year without ever seeing the face of a kid or a teacher.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
How
there's a
are
lot
you?
of psychology behind that, man. Like they got to see
sure.
faces and
Absolutely.
emotions. And
How does the school board receive you?
they ignore me anytime I'm there. So yeah, they don't like me, that's for sure. But
Isn't
I'm
that weird when we put elected officials and we hold them accountable how they act?
Yeah, I'm hoping that, you know, one day they're gonna have to sit next to me and, you know, I get to look at them every single meeting for.
Oh,
that's
that'll
the
be
best. I mean, that's the best way to get even
Yeah.
is to make them sit with you.
You know, and that's the thing I gotta make sure people understand though is I'm not running as a school board member strictly on retaliation. Like, you know, it's way
Well,
more
right.
important.
It's
to
a
me.
plus.
Yeah, for sure. So
But you got to
Has-
make the change and the difference too, and that's the only way that you're going to be able to do it.
Has your child said if he wanted to attend the school or not?
honestly, I haven't really talked to my child about this yet. I've been able to, believe it or not, with the podcast, like I think you're like the 10th or 11th podcast I've done. He doesn't really know too much what's going on. I've been able to keep him in the dark. He knows a little bit, but not
Yeah,
that.
that's good though. I mean, how old is he?
11.
Yeah.
Was he on the tour with you?
No, he
No,
wasn't.
so it was parents only.
Parents, yeah.
How many parents were on that tour with you?
I think 5.
Were you the only one asking questions, or them too, or?
No, everybody was asking a few questions. I probably asked the most. Like, you know, if I'm going to be there, I'm going to be part of it. I'm not,
Sure.
you know.
No, I totally understand that.
I just asked questions just like me and you were talking. Like, hey, what is this? What is that? What was the, you know, inspiration on that mural? It's art. It's whatever you want it to be.
No.
That's the answer I got.
Well, and then like, what is the safe space? Are you saying that the entire school is a safe atmosphere for LGBTQ? Because that's great.
Yeah, I never got an answer.
What exactly does it
So
mean?
no answer.
Nope.
So did all the other parents get their jobs called too, or just yours?
Oh, the only one.
Just yours.
Mm,
Yeah.
Interesting.
that's
Yeah.
very interesting.
And I mean, I know we said this backstage that like I kind of expect this like in California and whatnot, but in Florida, it was kind of shocker for me, in all honesty. I mean, especially given the recent bills being signed and how strong
Oh, yeah.
DeSantis is
Not
taking a
happy about
stand.
those bills, that's for sure. There's been a lot of protest on the other side about the House bill, the parental rights bill.
Right.
Yeah, can't have those parental rights floating
It
around.
only goes to third grade. It's not, don't talk about homosexuality or transgenderism. It's don't talk about any sexuality whatsoever.
Unusual.
Right. Yeah. So that, yeah, but it's been looped into where it's only that we don't want them to talk about being gay. Obviously, that's a thing. And kids know this. I mean, some kids have two moms, some kids have two dads, they have
It's
uncle
made
so
up
and
that
so.
whole title to be, to be catchy, and DeSantis never says anything about that. If I've read the bill, I've studied the bill. There's nothing in there about not saying gay. It says don't talk about any sexuality.
Any form of sexuality. Well, why do they need to? Why?
I don't know.
Like, I remember when I was in school, it was just like, okay, this is, like what happens. The girls would go one way, the boys would go one way. It would be
This is second page of a yearbook
Yeah.
right.
of junior high.
And while I'm one of those people that's like, okay, like let's meet in the middle and figure out how we can, both be happy with it. Like, you could put up a pride spread if that's what you want, and we can
So
do
this is one of your-
influential people that have done great things that are gay. But to take a child and sexualize a child, because that is what you're doing. If you are giving a child a sexuality that young, you're sexualizing a child, and I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
We can do an influential LGBTQ spread, and I wouldn't have an issue with that at all whatsoever if my kids came home and were like, we're doing like historical figures that were gay. That's awesome. Cool. I still don't see the need
problem with
to
that.
be worried about who's sleeping with who, but if that's what you want to do, cool. My problem is always like the over sexualization of the child. Like, the child does not have a sexual identity. This is a child.
Right.
Right.
So this is one of your school board running?
Yeah. So that guy was actually running for school board on this last election.
The one with the belly shirt and the mask, or the one next to the guy in the mask and the belly shirt?
Purple, described
Okay.
as a Antifa supporter running
Yeah.
for school board.
And he wasn't disqualified to run. He's a school teacher for Pasco, and that was on his social.
Oh, he's a teacher.
Yeah.
And he openly says that he's a supporter of Antifa.
Yeah. It literally says
Nothing ever happened to him.
Well, I mean, look at Jesus.
and look what he's parading with.
But
Antifa.
I'm the guy that they wanted to go after. You know what I mean? So
Were you wearing anything American flag print when you went?
no, I was not actually.
Because you can't do that. You can't wear anything American flag print, or they'll judge you right off the bat. Yeah, he's actually a teacher in our district. For what grade? Not that it matters to me, really, but I'm always just curious, like,
I'm not sure. I think he's a high school teacher, but I'm not sure.
because teachers are extremely influential. Like, that's their job, is to lead and influence the youth to go and do all the things. And when you are walking around with Antifa, that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, they went after him for asking basic questions during a tour that of the school that his child plans on attending, or will attend, or should attend.
Yeah.
That guy's a high school teacher.
Yeah.
Wow. And they're okay with it.
Yeah.
Openly supporting Antifa.
I mean, he's standing there with the Gimp from Pulp Fiction. Like, what is going on in that photo? I'm gonna take Shepard's name on that later. But seriously, like, why in your head are you like, looks like a really good person to teach my kid about the world
and run for school board?
That's what I mean. Yeah. And they had more people come out and supported him than the other candidate who wasn't like that. That's the problem, is the more conservative parents are staying home. So
yeah, they're choosing to stay home and homeschool now. So, I mean, there was,
or like you said, they're just so wore out by everything that they've given up.
yeah.
yeah, that's real. That
because
too.
they don't feel they have a voice. I mean, how could you feel like you have a voice whenever you ask basic questions in a nice tone, not angry, not that it matters, and just asking general questions, and next thing you know, your job's getting called
Yeah.
with a bunch of lies.
You know, and that's the thing. Parents are afraid to speak out now for sure. So,
Wow.
but
How much
Wow.
longer are we gonna do all this for?
anyways,
It's
you know, I
just
plan
crazy.
on doing what I can, being a citizen candidate, and hopefully I can make some changes in the future. That's my plan. So, I will
Definitely keep in touch with me. That
yeah, I'll keep in touch with you guys. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I mean, we'd love
Absolutely.
to have you on again when you
Yeah,
get
I
a
would love
little bit
to. I'm
closer.
feeling a
And
little antsy tonight. I'm dealing with a stomach virus, and that's why I left a minute ago. So I've been trying to kind of power
no,
through.
it's okay. We can wrap it up. I'm so sorry. You should have said
No,
something
that's
earlier.
okay. That's okay. I mean, I'm all right.
But we'd like you to stay in touch, and I'd
Yeah,
like to be
I love
able
that.
to
I
put
appreciate
out what you got going on and fundraisers and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
you know, and then
Absolutely.
you know, I'll definitely keep you guys up to speed.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Shawn.
All right, I'll see y'all soon.
All
Okay.
right, Shawn.
That's insane.
I liked Shawn.
That's insane.
That is insane.
I
I don't know
mean,
what I would do. Like, I just don't know what I would do. Like, if I walked, I feel really bad that he had to do the show with a tummy bug, though, too.
Yeah.
Like, that makes me feel
I
bad.
I honestly, like I told him, I mean, I expect this in like in New York. I expect this
Mhm.
in. I didn't expect this in Florida.
No, but I mean, I think that we also have, like we were saying before, like a false illusion of if it's red, then it's perfect, right? Because that's that group think. Like, that's that blue and red thinking, like, oh, no, it's Republican and it's red. So everything's perfect and fine and wonderful. Like, no,
Which
because once again, it's not. I mean, it is political, but it's not political. Like, it's
no,
just extremist thinking. And I can't do it anymore.
I just
Like, I wouldn't get mad if my kids came home and had a whole, like, pride spread in their yearbook of, like, influential people and, you know, the rest of it. I'm totally okay with my kids being talked to about that. But not when you start asking my child, like, that's when we have a problem. It's okay that they know that it's out there. It's out there. It exists. I want it to be normalized,
I'm sorry.
but you can't over sexualize my child like that.
I would not want this guy teaching my high schooler
Yeah, no.
at all. Period. Like
No.
the fact that you're
Well,
gonna
can I get like a
openly.
zoom in of the mask guy? Like, I'm very interested in him.
Which one?
With the
They're all wearing
oh,
masks.
man.
They're
Oh, the other
Antifa.
one, that guy. Like, what? Like, you're not scary.
I
What
mean,
is going on there?
what flag is that?
I don't know what flag that is. I think that that's just the.
Is that pansexual?
I
Because that's not
don't.
the LGBT.
No, I think it's trans. I think that's the trans flag, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see it again. Is it blue, white, and pink?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the trans flag. I could be wrong, but and the only reason that I think that that's accurate is that Dylan.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
used to follow
trans.
that. Yeah, trans flag. I used to follow that Dylan character on the TikTok. That it's Dylan or whatever, and I really liked that account until she went to the White House, and then I didn't. But I remember she wore the colors to the
Who?
White House. Her name's Dylan. It's a verified account. Like, it's a big account on TikTok, and she's the one who does like 365 days of being a girl.
Is that paid verification or?
And no, because it's on TikTok, not Twitter. I'm actually going back and forth with him right now on Twitter. I unblocked him. It was getting annoying because I couldn't see comments. But she got invited to go to the White House. Like, that's who that's what we're doing at the White House now. And it's like, I get that these are issues. I do. I'm not saying that they're not issues. I'm just saying it's really no one's business.
Okay,
who
so
you're
here's the
sleeping
thing.
with.
Do you know where the World Cup is being played right now?
No, yeah, it's in Iran, right?
Qatar.
Mhm.
Qatar, where it's literally
But they're
illegal to be
yeah,
gay.
yeah,
Illegal. Like
yes.
I was watching the news today on it, and they're so extreme that they got Budweiser to be a sponsor and then removed alcohol sales at the stadium. And did you know that 400 to 500 people died building that soccer stadium this year?
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
How?
But we complain about our human rights here
Yeah. Yeah.
when it's literally illegal to, and they're all celebrating Qatar right now. Oh, and did you know that America just sent $1 billion in military aid to Qatar today?
Love
Because
that
of
for
the
us.
final game of the World Cup is going to need protection. So $1 billion worth of military aid is being sent over. Yeah.
Why?
It's
For a sports game?
illegal to be gay there. Like truly illegal. Like they have no rights.
So then why are we supporting it? Why are we giving them any money? Why are we supporting anything at all whatsoever over there?
Right.
Like, what's the punishment for being gay there?
But teaching a third grader sexuality is taking away human rights here in America.
If we don't teach them, then it's
Right.
taking away human rights.
Right. So Rhonda said that, and so it's like, are we serious? Like, it's flabbergasting the more that I'm reading about this damn World Cup, and I'm not watching it, but it's like the fact that like one, America was supposed to be changing their logo to the LGBTQ logo.
Right. Did that happen for the World Cup?
No, because it's illegal to be gay in Qatar.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just, to me, it's like,
because we say one thing and then we do the
Right.
opposite.
right.
You can't be complaining about human rights and how, like, especially like our current administration. Like, you can't be pushing for LGBTQ rights and making it a talking point, making it a political stamp and how you stand and you support them while giving billions of dollars to a country where it is illegal. Not only illegal, but I'm sure that people are being killed over it.
Where's the flag for the Qatar people? For their
Yes, that is
freedom?
still currently happening.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And more
But we are
kids-
more worried about a soccer game that is taking place over there than that.
Right.
Right.
And 400 to 500, they don't even know how many people. It's just estimated to be 400 to 500 people died building that soccer stadium.
That's
Can you
crazy.
imagine if like 1 or 2 people died building a football stadium here in America? Like the human rights violations crew that would come out and the protests that would happen if like one
It
person
would be
died.
ridiculous.
Can you imagine 400 to 500
No.
and then need $1 billion in military aid to protect them? Where are the liberals at? Where are they at with this protest? Like, we all fly the Ukraine flag. I was driving home from Tennessee this weekend.
Are we
Guess
going
what
to
I
start
saw in
flying? Are we going to
Ohio?
start flying the Chinese flag now too?
Guess what I saw in Ohio?
What?
Flying high and proud was the Ukrainian flag,
Right next to the American flag?
right below the American flag. And I'm sitting there, are you fucking kidding me? In Ohio.
Hey, tags. Since our guest left a little bit early, we should too. I'm in so much pain right now.
Okay.
I feel like such a jerk.
It's only 10 minutes.
I know. I'm trying to sit here and like I can't even shift anymore, you guys. I am so sorry.
We got
It's like
amazing people. They understand.
it's so crazy because like for the most part, it's like this deep dull. Like for those of you that don't know, I broke my ass this weekend. But it's like a deep pain. But then like if I shift the wrong way, like shortly after he left when I went
Are you
like
in
this,
jail?
it's like a shooting. I'm
Are you-
not. Yeah, before I do wrap it up, we'll end it this way. I'm not in jail, nor am I in rehab, nor am I going to either one of those places. I'm just taking a break from TikTok. I'm still on Twitter, very active. I'm still on Instagram. Like I'm not in jail or in rehab.
All right.
But I am very uncomfortable right now.
Well,
and
who do
it's
we have
becoming very
Thursday?
painful. Thursday, we have Fiegel. The Figo will be landing with us here on Thursday.
And I can
Also, if
guarantee that's gonna
you
be
guys are not following Cat's Meow over on TikTok, please go over and give her a follow. Same handle. She's doing our promo videos for Freedom Fam over on the TikTok. So I also have them on my Instagram and stuff like that, but
and mine.
that's how you see it. My ass went full on headstrong against the concrete, and then I just felt trapped on the ground. It was horrible.
You can't take on anyone now.
I can't. I can't take on anyone, including the sidewalk. It's
All
not
right.
working.
With that said, we will see y'all.
Sorry,
Thursday.
guys. It was only 10 minutes. I don't feel too bad.
Y'all have a great evening.
Bye.